Hello and welcome to the latest Blender to Unity tutorial series, and in this series we're going to be modelling this here go-kart. We're going to model it in Blender, we're going to texture it in Substance Painter, and then we're going to import it into Unity. So let's get started. Hi, so thanks for watching, and before we get started on this, I did want to say that although this was my initial attempt, I think I can do a lot better. I'm sure you can do even better than I can. There's a few things that I noticed that I didn't like. Number one, I think these bars are in the wrong place. It doesn't look structurally very sound to me. It looks like it might sag in the middle. The pedals are probably too small, and you'll notice this rather weird lump in the cushions that I've created. It's not too bad here, look. I did notice it looked worse when it was imported into Unity, and that's just because of the way I unwrapped the UVs was probably not as efficient as it could have been for what I was trying to do. A lot of things I were happy with. I love the tyres. Possibly again not enough resolution. Not really keen on the steering wheel. Possibly the wheel itself is fine, but this middle bit here, I don't know what I've done there. So let's try and improve on that. And this front plate here maybe could have a number on it or something like that, or a little message. I've gone pretty straightforward with that as well, but you know, you can go to town with this. So let's crack on and get started in Blender. So as usual, I will be hiding the timeline because we don't care about that, and I'll also hide the 3D manipulator widget. You're welcome to keep both of those if you want to. I just find it gives me a little bit more real estate when I'm doing stuff. Now then, the first thing I'd like to do is the bucket seat. Alright, now I've been I winged this all the way, which is kind of curious because it's quite often good to have reference images, but I'm going to actually show you what I did with this, and maybe you can tweak it and maybe you can have a look at other different bucket seats and see if you like it. But what I was doing is if I just grab the cube that comes with it and just scale that on the Z to 0.1 or something like that, and then tab into edit mode, do Control R to get edge loop and just drag that over 0.8. We can play with it. Let's just try 0.8 and then just go to top view. Oh, and press numpad 5 to go into perspective. I think 0.8 looks to be the correct, that looks to be a cube, if you understand what I'm saying there. In fact, why don't we do this? Why don't we go to N and do there's a way that you can display the distances, the lengths. Let's just quickly find that. It is down here under edge info, length there. And you can see it's 0.2, and I think that's meant to say 0.2 as well. So I tell you why. So if we just tab out and do Control A, rotation and scale, and go back in, there we go, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. So we know that there is a perfect distance. And now we should be able to just extrude this, E, Z, Z, and let's try something. So it needs to be 1.8, doesn't it? 8, and I think that would make that a perfect. If you like, sort of that length there is the same as that length there. Well, let's check. It's 1.8, and that is 1.8. There we go. So we've got ourselves a nice looking rounded chair. But obviously, it's nowhere near what we were after right now. What we're after is something a little bit more buckety, and I'm going to use that as a word, buckety. Okay, so let's start adding some edge loops to it, and we'll do just Control R, 1, 2, 3. 5 possibly. You might want to try and get away with 3 as usual. Let's quickly switch off that edge loop. Oh, excuse me, and then escape. There we go. And get rid of the length. That's going to drive me mad. If I just spin back here, you may want to do less. I can't actually remember how many I did. Let's just click on Go-Kart. I might be able to see here. It looks like I was a little less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there we go. I've done the same amount. I think what I probably did was move some of these over. Right, what we can do now, and we'll do the same on the bottom. 1, 2. I might just go with 3 at the bottom and just see if we can get away with that. Okay. Now, if I just Control Tab 3, if I Control Tab 2, excuse me, and if I just grab this edge here, what I'm going to do, grab that one there, I think. Yes. And I'm just going to grab that on the Y and pull that back, and you can see what's happening there. What I really want to happen is I want it to move around in a sort of a rounded fashion, sort of like a crescent like that. So hopefully, if I just press O to bring up the proportional editing mode, we can play around with this and just do G, Y, and just start dragging it out. Now I don't like the way that's done. You can see what it's kind of followed that hump shape here, which is the smooth. So let's just try a couple of other ones. Let's try root. Let's just try that, GY. That's something more like what I was after. Look, this is much more like it. Okay, because this is a sort of back shape, if you know what I mean, sort of a crescent shape. Okay, I'm going to go with something like that, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the. I'm just going to select these ones, unselect that. That's it, and I'm going to look at the front view, and I'm going to do Z, and pull that down. Okay, a bit more maybe. Yeah, I like that. Before we do anything else, let's rename this to bucket seat over here. I'm going to bevel this edge, but I'm not going to do that till the very end, because I think beveling, it makes things look so much nicer, but at the same time, it once you've gone down the beveling route, it's very hard to start editing afterwards. So let's do a couple of other things. Let's just tab into edit mode, do Control Tab 1, or if you want to, you can go down here and just click on Vertex Select. Press Z to go into wireframe mode, press A a couple of times, make sure nothing's selected, box select that lot, B, and this X vertices. I think you're probably going to guess what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to add a mirror modifier. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and round this off a bit here. This is a little bit more fiddly. Is proportional editing still on? No, it isn't. Let's turn it on. Turn it on. Enable. Excuse me. Just go for connected. I think connected might be right. And we'll do G, Y. And just start bringing that down until... No. I'm going to turn off proportional editing. Press O a couple of times, and then G, Y. And just start bringing this back. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to select this edge loop here and just do GG and pull it across. Alright, we're going to, and the same with this one, GG, and just pull that out like that. And we're going to have to play around with this a bit. Just start grabbing this egg and grab it on the Y, and then do the GG and pull that across until you can find an angle that looks something like a bed. Now, you can see, I should put Z again. You can see that this is probably not great because I haven't got enough vertices. I'm going to need to pull that back as well, aren't I? That's very sharp, that edge there. But we'll do that in a second. It's up to you. It might be worth, I'm going to do it, adding another edge loop there. I'm probably going to regret this, but let's do it anyway. And then we'll just Z, B, and then just grab that on the Y, start pulling that out like that, and then maybe just GG that across there. You can see what I'm doing here, can't you? Trying to create a smooth looking edge. That's certainly better, and it'll look a lot better in a few seconds when I've added the smooth to the shape. Still not quite happy. Whatever you do with this, if I do GG, pull that back there, it never looks quite right, I've found. Alright, but let's go with that for now. Okay, and the same for the top if I haven't done it already. No, I haven't. I found the top a bit easier for reasons I'm not sure of. Z, B, if I just do that and then do rotate, no, B, and then you can do, if you shift grab, it unselects. No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to grab that on the Z, pull that down, B, no, A, B, grab Z. Ah! Grab Z. I'm rushing it a bit, guys, you can tell, probably. 1, B, I'm going to pull that down a bit more. G, Z, I'm going to pull that down to about there. Just try and start averaging this out here. You can see that you could spend quite a while doing this. And what I will do as well is just grab that on the Z and just pull that up. I'm just kind of trying to make a low poly but reasonable looking edge. Now I think that's okay. I'm happy with that. But we do have a very sharp edge here, so let's sort that out. The best way to do that, I think, is if we tab back in, is if we just get that point there and that point there, and go into wireframe, O, then grab, I think we can just, it's just 3, grab, just pull that back a bit, hang on. So, yeah, we've pulled those round a bit, haven't we? We've done that bit. So we just need to pull that back. G. Just make it a bit more comfortable. Get that seat there. Let's try that. And that hasn't made any difference. So what I'm going to try and do then is just grab this edge here and switch off proportional editing. Am I still in orthographic? Yes. I'm just grab and just put that in like that. Okay, and I'm probably going to do the same here. Let's have a quick look. I'm not going to do, just start grabbing these edges. There's a bit of point pulling that needs to be done. I'll just grab those two to start with, just pull them down a bit. That's already better, isn't it? It's quite a chunky looking back though. What we can do as well, that's very sharp, is we can just, if we just pop the selection there and just do Shift S, selection to cursor to selected, and then we're going to make the pivot point the 3D cursor, and if I just quickly Z here, A, B, and now if I rotate, you'll see that it rotates on that cursor point there, which is exactly what we're after. Something just a little bit back, right? You don't go too far. Okay, I'm gonna play around with this a little bit more, maybe offline. Z, G. Start trying to angle these things up, make it a little bit more comfortable. A little less angled there. There are different ways I could have done this. I could have probably created a circle maybe and just pull that back. I might even play around with that and see what we can do. But for now, I'm going with that. Okay, it's a pretty sharp looking bucket seat, but that's okay. Let's add a bevel to this edge here. And then I was pretty sure that was going to go all the way around, but it did not. Okay, that's probably okay. And then that one. And we'll just do Alt. No, we won't do those ones. Unselect those. And that one. And do Alt S there. Just pull that out a bit. And then we'll just do these ones. Those, sorry, the middle ones, it's selecting ones I don't want it to. Let's just unselect those and do Alt S. Something like that. You're thinking, well, okay, it's not terrible. Alright, that's okay. I'm gonna just grab those a second and just at the front view. It looks alright from the front, doesn't it? I'm just gonna grab it on the Y a bit. Pull that in a bit. There we go. Right, okay, so that's okay. And now if we very simply click on here, do A, and then select shading UVs, faces smooth, suddenly the world's a better place. And we've kind of got away with it a bit more. I think I like the proportions. I think the proportions are okay. Some of you say, well, okay, maybe that's just a Control A, rotation and scale. But if we select it on the X, maybe, yeah, I think maybe a little bit thinner than it is. Needs to be maybe a bit more. I'll let you decide on roughly how big you want that to be. I think, yeah, scale on the X a touch. We can always change this. I wouldn't apply any more modifiers yet. In fact, while we're at it, I've just noticed that clipping isn't on, so let's just switch that off. Go to the A, yeah, switch it off, and then press 1 to go to front view, and then just G on the X. X, yeah, thank you, and then just enable clipping, and then G on the X again. That's the way I tend to fix this. Something bothered me there a second ago. I think it was you. If you just do GG and grab it there. Whee! Yeah, I might just grab you and just pull you down there, just so you're not quite so nasty looking. I don't know. You can point pull all day at this kind of thing. For my money as well, is that? Yeah, it's bang on the centre. There we go. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. Now, one thing that I think is worth doing, I'm going to probably apply this modifier now. Let's save it as well. Let's just create a new folder. New folder called Go-Kart. I might call it Go-Kart V2 because I've already done one. Hello? Where are you, Go? I've got so many folders in here now. It's getting wound up with me. Right, and we'll call this. We'll call it Go-Kart V2. And I do like to use underscores, not just spaces. I don't know why. This is 2016. I'm not sure why I'm still using underscores, but it makes me more comfortable. Right, so we're happy with that. So I might just apply this and unwrap it now. This is a good thing to do quite often, because if you unwrap early, then you save yourself a lot of pain later on, and it's sort of less monotonous, if you know what I mean. So unwrap what you can. Now I'm going to try and do a better job this time, because last time it didn't go very well. And I think what I might even do is the following. I might just select, let's just add a few obvious seams. So I'm going to add a seam at the bottom, just down here. I'm just Alt-Shift right clicking just to add them all in there. I'm going to do Control-E, mark seam, there. And I'm going to do one at the back. Like so, Control-E, mark seam. Let's just take a look at these. If you just go into the face select and just press L, U, unwrap, and we can go to N, press N to properties and press stretch, and just see how much stretching there is, and you can see there's none there. L, U, unwrap, again, no noticeable stretching. We're going to have to do, this is the weirdest thing. If I just show you, I think I can do this. Running a bit out of space. Just do Shift Space to bring up full screen, and then nearly there. Control E, mark seam, and then Control Tab 3, L, Shift Space, U, unwrap. It's not done a bad job of it, has it? But this is where I went wrong last time. This is why I got that really weird. Hang on, have I still got it loaded? This really weird wobbly effect here in Unity, because of the way I think this kind of stretching occurred on the unwrap, which I won't bore you with. So what I'll do is I'll just do another one, all there, across there, Control E, mark seam, and now L, U, unwrap. That unwraps perfectly, and I'm imagining L, U, unwrap will unwrap perfectly. That only leaves this really large section here. Let's just add them there. I could have done this before I applied the modifier, but I didn't. So there you go. And we'll add a couple at the front as well. Is it that one? I'm going to go and take a chance and do it that one. So that's 1, 2, third one from the center. 1, 2, 1, 2, that one. Control E, mark seam. Now after A, you unwrap everything. It's kind of weird. Let's quickly L, rotate. You can see that would probably go there nicely. L, R, grab, maybe something like that. Yeah. Just do Control L. I like to give a little bit of separation. Sorry, apologies. So if you select one here, by the way, I don't know if you know this, you can do L, which will select all of them. The other thing you've got, by the way, which is rather cool, is UV selection, which if you click on it, selects the whole thing. So that's probably the way to go. I don't use this enough. So if I just grab it on the X, just pull that away. I know this isn't the greatest use, but I like to have a little bit of padding between the different things, so that it's grab, yeah, so that it gives you a little bit of breathing room. I don't know why I like that, and perhaps it's not necessary, and you're going to say, Richard, you're being paranoid. Now we can grab it and we can scale it right up. You can see there's very little stretching there, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. Okay. What we could do, if we wanted to, was just pin that. No, we don't need to pin it now. We won't do that now. We'll keep that for now. I'll just scale it up a little bit. You should try and scale it as much as you dare. All right. Again, like I said, I've got these big spaces here. The less space there is used here, the better resolution you're going to get in the image. So I might even tweak that, but you can see where I'm going with that. I'll leave it for now on that piece. And let's move on to adding the wheels. The wheels are, the good thing about this go-kart is that a lot of the stuff we can reuse the textures for instance, for each wheel, and the bars. All of these textures are the same for the wheels. All of the bars use the same space. So these bars, either side, use the same space. Front and back use the same texture space, and so on. All right. So all of this stuff is very repeatable, and it allows us to be very efficient with our textures. So let's now add a wheel. We'll tab out and we'll just add a Shift A, add mesh. We're going to add a cylinder. Now we definitely don't want, well, say we definitely don't want to. I don't think we need it to be 32. I'm going to go for 24. even that looks like quite a lot. I do like it to be a multiple of 3. Let's try 18. It's pretty high res, considering we're going to be doing a lot of chopping and changing of this. If you're using a lower poly game, then maybe try 16. How does 16 look? I like the number 16. I'm going to go with 16. Please go with more if you feel you should, if you want to. Okay. So now let's tab in, and we're going to rotate on the Y 90. Okay, I'm just typing in 90, and then we're going to scale this right down to a sort of wheelie size. And then I'll also scale on the X because that's too fat. Let's just hide you a moment, because I'm going to move you in a sec. Okay, and what I will do is just tab in to Control R, select that. Okay, and just right click to cancel the move, and then I've wanted to vertex select mode. Z to wireframe, B, select that and just get rid of those. I think you know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to add a modifier, a mirror modifier. There on the X, it looks like I need to go into edit mode, into object mode, and do Control A, rotation and scale. When you rotate stuff, there's a good chance that the X-axis won't be where you expect. So I often go, if you've followed any of my other tutorials, you'll know that I often go into object mode and regularly do rotation and scale, even though I don't need to do it as often as I do. Okay, now what I want to do now is I'm going to actually grab this. At the moment, it's in a weird place. Let's just move it. Location. Let's just move that to 0, 0, 0. That's the cursor location. It's this. Can I do Shift S? Selection to cursor. Boom. There we go. Right, that's moved it there. But that's not. I know that's a bit crazy. I'm actually going to move it again. Let's just move it to something like there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do at the center is just do Shift S cursor to center, and I'm going to add an empty. Where are you, empty? There we go. Plane axis. I always find that the lines it uses are much too big, so I'm just going to change that to 0.2. I might just name this to center point. Spelling center TRE, which I think is the right way of spelling it, and we'll just rename this one wheel. All right. And now what we can do on our wheel, if we go back to the mirror modifier, we're going to add another mirror modifier. Add mirror. But now, what we're actually going to use this mirror for is this one here, mirrored 001. We're actually going to do it on the mirror object is going to be the center point. And now we can do X and Y. And suddenly, we've got 4 wheels. Is that magic or is that magic? You might not think that's magic. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so let's pop back in and let's start editing this one here. This is the one we're working on. So let's just do Control B to bevel it, like so. Again, depending on your thoughts, you can up the bevel count like that. I like that already. I'm sorry, I'm going with it. I know it's overkill, but that's good. And I'm just going to scale that up just a touch. Oh, just get clipping on go, don't we? And scale it. And grab on the X. I've set the wrong one clipping. It's this one clipping, isn't it? That's going to confuse me. Grab on the X. There we go. And now scale. Just a nudge. Just so it's a little bit bulgy. And bulgy is also a word. I'm sorry, I'm just making up words for this tutorial. And we'll click on select all, go to shading UVs and select faces smooth. Alright. That's created as a sort of a yeah, maybe that bulge looks a bit silly. Let's just scale that down. Just the tiniest. Alright, and these are like electric go-kart wheels, aren't they? Petrol go-kart wheels. So you might want to try a few different styles, but I like this style. I like the way it kind of looks track ready, sort of like I don't know. It's like, 'cause you wouldn't use this on a downhill. Well, maybe you would, but these wheels are very small. Probably can't get a lot of speed up on a downhill if this was a soapbox. Right, now what we'll do now is we're going to tab back in, and we'll just I to inset it. And just do something like that. I might just change that, just select that one and select sharp. Let's see how that's made no difference. But we'll certainly do this one sharp. And then we'll press E to extrude and not go too far in. This was a mistake I think I made last time. But we definitely want some of these angles to be sharp. Alright, I'm not seeing them sharp. Am I being I know why. Because I need to go over to here and do auto smooth. And pop the angle up to something like 90. No, 180. Yeah, now that angle is sharp. I don't want it to be. I can see that now. Let's just mark that as edges smooth there. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, arguably I've not gone in far enough, so let's fix that. You see, 16 is not enough, is it? 16 is not enough edges. There are times, these are the wheels. People are going to be looking at this, so I'm going to go with it. But please consider going something smaller. So let's just select those two, and I think if I just go to 3 and just scale that in. Where are we scaling on? Have I still got cursor? Yes, we want medium point. So just scale it in. Let's try that. How about that? And then we'll scale this one in. Let's again go to 3 to go side view. We'll scale that right in, something like that. And you can see that it's done it on both sides. All right. That's okay. This is kind of where we want to be. And let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that for now. Again, we can adjust where we can reposition this as we need to. What am I doing? I'm going to Alt H as well to bring the seat back, which you can see is either the seat's too big or the wheels are too big. Let's just scale the seat down for now. Let's try and get some rough ideas of where this is going to go. Sort of guessing a bit. No, don't do that. Keep it in the middle. Grab something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Now the wheels are too big, so let's scale it up. We can tweak this, and this is the beauty of using mirror modifiers, is that you can really adjust this. You'll see in a minute. I still have plenty of potential to move this stuff around. Let's unwrap it. I probably should have hidden this UV thing while I was creating it. Let's unwrap this. Unwrapping should be easy enough. Shall we apply? We'll apply one of the modifiers to this, which is this one, which is just the x-axis one. All right, and that will allow us to unwrap the whole thing. So what we're going to do, like I say, we are going to be using the same UV space for each of these. Okay, there's no point in having 4 separate images because these are going to be identical, and it makes life a lot easier for us. So let's just add a few obvious cuts. I think we're going to have to add one there and there. Control E, mark seam, and then if I just put one of those in here, the more seams you add, by the way, the more texture, the more space that you've got. You give yourself the opportunity to use. So that's interesting. I wasn't expecting you to be like that. Let's just scale you out. I might just interesting. Z. I don't know quite what's happened there. I wasn't expecting that to be inward. Let's just scale you out a bit so you're all the way out there. Okay, I'm going with that. Sorry, I'm messing around. Right, so let's just add one at the top. We don't need just those two actually, and we'll add one at the bottom as well. We don't have to do that, but if I just show you now, L, and let's do U, unwrap. You can see if I didn't do that, it would be half the size. If that makes sense. I'll show you. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Let's just clear the seam on that. Control E, clear seam, and then L, U, no, Control Escape, U, unwrap. You can see it's not used anywhere near as much space, so it just gives you a little bit more texture, breathing room, if you know what I mean. Right, now we can probably do that one. Control E, mark seam, and probably do that one. Control E, mark seam. So let's just try a few. L, U, unwrap. You can see it's a little bit stretched, the light blue. I've actually do N here. Let me zoom in a bit. Couple of possible solutions. One is that we move that, then that one will probably be stretched. No, I am going to do that. Control Tab 2. So let's just unselect these two. Control E, clear seam, and I'm just going to add them there and there. Again, this is one of those things maybe I should have done. Let's just check this one. I think that will suffer less. Oh, L. Have I messed something up? Ah, look, yes, I haven't done those edges there, which obviously I'm going to need to do to complete the cut, so to speak. Control E, mark seam. Control Tab 3, L, U, unwrap. Yeah, that's not nowhere near as bad, is it? Nowhere near as bad there. And now I think if I do L, U, unwrap, that's done perfectly. This one might be interesting. It's fine. And I'm very sure that will unwrap perfectly. And I haven't done them on this side, have I? Mark seam. If those sharp, it does hide the seams, which is annoying. So you can go down to the properties and click on the mesh display and just unselect sharp, and it'll show you. It'll hide the sharp bits. Although that keeps that's annoying me. Why has it all gone on the wonk? I think it has, hasn't it? Very slightly. I might recreate those offline. I think I might have. I don't know when I did that, but okay. So now you unwrap. We've got ourselves a pretty good thing, and we can just do a few things. Let's just grab that, pop it in there. Oh, can we pop it in there? And that's 2. Yeah, it's not too big. It's exactly the right size, but because I've got island select, I can do that. I'm not going to be able to. What I can do though is actually make these bigger. Now you may disagree with this, but if I just scale them out, yeah, if I just grab them both and then just start scaling them, I'll have to grab them again. The good thing, the reason I'm doing that is because this bit here is the rim, and we can put a nice imprint in there. And let's just grab that, put it in. Grab that, put it in. I thought that. Let's just try that and that and that. And the scale. No, it didn't work. So let's just grab the medium point, scale it again, and then just grab it. Just make sure it doesn't. Again, make sure you got some space between them. All right. So that's slightly bigger than this. If you like, the scale of it all is slightly. Those are slightly bigger, and that's kind of cool because it'll allow us to put something funky in there, and it's just a little bit better looking. All right. Now I'm not hugely pleased with that, but you know, I've seen better unwraps, but for now we're going with it. I'm particularly annoyed with that weird-looking bulge thing, but it doesn't. It's not so noticeable, is it? Excuse me. All right, now let's start joining it up together. Okay, sorry, I just want to make sure I'm still recording. Yes, that terrifying moment when you realise you're not recording. Let's do something similar here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add. We're in object mode. Yes. Shift A, add mesh. Cylinder. Now, this is going to be quite small because it's going to be the connecting struts for the wheels. So let's go. Well, first of all, no, we need to pick the size. 8 might be too many. I'm going to try 12 and see if I can get away with it. All right. Again, you might even say that 8 is probably enough, but I'm going to go with 12. Rotate Y 90 and start scaling this down. Okay, and then just grab on the Y. It's a bit of a guess, this, but it's not. Where I'm going with this, I think you can probably see, is I'm going to tab into here, do Control R, select that, and just Control Tab 1, A, Z, B, select those, X those vertices, and add the mirror modifier. Again, I need to rotation and scale. All right, and let's just get the business of faces being smooth. Clicking on here and doing auto smooth, clicking on that, edges sharp. Alright, how's that? Oh, we can delete the face as well because that's never going to be seen. Delete those faces. That will definitely help on the unwrap. Couple of things. Is it too big? Don't know. And is it in the right place? Don't know. Let's just grab that on the X and just pull that out. Alright. When I see you do it like that, it makes me very nervous. Let's just quickly go to here and change that to 180. There we go. It's clearly too big, and it's also clearly in the wrong place. So let's just, and then grab it on the Z, pull that down to the center. It doesn't matter. I've noticed it doesn't actually matter if it's slightly out. It's not that noticeable as long as it's close. And you can, like I say, you can always change this. Now I'm going to have to scale it on everything but the X. So press S and I press Shift X to do everything but the X-axis. And how's that? Well, what I might do is just grab that on the Y. In fact, what I might do is go to Z and then just position it to about there. Yeah, and then go to the top. That looks good to me. Alright, and now what we can do is, guess what, add another mirror to the same object. add modifier mirror, but we're going to mirror it just on the X, and the mirror object is the center point. And you can see, look at that, how wonderful is our life that we can just simply do that. Next up, we're going to add some connecting lines down here. So let's do that now. What we'll do is we'll just do Shift D, right click, and then I will actually remove these. And I'm going to rotate this. What did I just? Oh, okay. Yes, I've got this one. I'm going to rotate that. Hang on. Go to the top view. Rotate 90. And then I'm just going to sort of grab it, pop it about there. It's going to need to be a touch smaller. I can tell you that because if it's not, you get some issues with this sort of connection here. So let's just make it a bit smaller. Where are you scaling? You seem to be scaling in a weird point. Let's just do Alt Shift Control C, origin to geometry. There we go. Now I can scale it, and it should behave itself better. And there's G on the Y. There we go. Now it goes inside. Can you see without any fuss? If we don't do that, it looks a bit weird. Sometimes you can get some Z fighting. Okay, we're off to it. That's a very good start. And now what we'll do is we'll just tab in. Let's just tab out and do Control A, rotation and scale. Tab in. I'm hoping that it hasn't got a face. It hasn't. We'll add a modifier. A mirror. We will start on the Y. Where are you? Let's do X. Why aren't you over there? Oh, I know why. Because I need the center. Yeah, so we need to do this on the center point, like so, and X and Y, and then we're going to add clipping and Control Tab edge. Just grab that edge there, and we're just going to grab it on the Y and just pull it into the center. How easy is that? Now, again, we can just grab this on the X a bit and pull it in, maybe. All depends on your thoughts. So you're going to need, obviously, it's going to need to support the chair, but for me then that makes this look completely too wide. So let's just go in here, let's grab that GX, just grab that, something like that, but then obviously we're going to have to then grab these GX, pull them in. I like to try and keep that, so let's just do something like that. Click on there again. I like to keep this bit here in the center, even though it's not going to be seen. Oh no, come on, there we go, like that. Okay, how's that look for starters? That's probably better than my first effort, I think. The other thing I think is it needs to be a lot longer. This was the mistake I made before. So I'm just going to grab it on the Y, pull those out a bit further. Alright, and then just grab that. Do you know what? I wonder if I can do this. Do that, and then now grab on the Y. Yeah, good. Okay, there-ish? I don't know. Like I say, we can tweak this later on, and then I'll just grab that one. Go to 3Z, and then just G, Y, and pull that into the center there. Okay. Yeah, alright. Possibly too big now. I don't know. Right, we're going to add some center struts. 3 of them. So I'll do that now. Let's do that. So what we'll do is just shift. So let's call this one. We'll call these side struts, and we'll call this one axle. I don't even know if that's right, but we'll call it axle struts. Okay, and then what I'll do, actually, this is the one I'll copy. No, I won't copy this one. Shift D, right click, and I'll just remove the mirror. Flip round, rotate 90, scale, shift. No, scale on the X, that's what we need to do. Okay, and again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a modifier. I'm going to add the mirror, and it's going to be on the empty center point, excuse me. It's going to be clipping and Y. Alright, and so that gives us lots of possibilities. Now if I just Shift Control C, origin to geometry as well, and then just tab into edit mode, and then just grab that on the X. That will allow me to pull in there, and I can just pull in. My guess is that that's not going to be it's going to be a little bit funny with me. So I want to do scale, shift X, just make it a little bit smaller so it fits in. Okay, and again the beauty of this is we can just start grabbing that origin to geometry there, and then we can just grab that on the Y and just pull it how we want it. What I think I ended up doing was having another one. What I wanted to do, and what I should have done, was have another one. So I'll put a couple there, and then what I'll do is I'll just do Shift D, right click, and it's not going to be on the mirror object, it's just going to be on the X, and I'm going to grab that on the Y and just pull that into the center, and you're being a monkey with me. Control C, Control A, excuse me, rotation of scale. Why aren't you appearing? Oh, I know why. Because I need the center point to be in the middle there. So I need to do, because the cursor is already in the center, I can do Shift Control C, origin to 3D cursor, and now bizarrely it will work. And if I just grab my boy, the Z, it's there, isn't it? Okay, I know it's not a perfect way of doing it. Okay, if that didn't make sense, please put it in the comments. Good, I'm happy with that. Happy-ish with that. I may just start grabbing those on the Y and pull that back a touch. Excuse me, and that one. Grab on the Y, pull that back a nudge. No point in being stupid here, and then just click on that. Tab, Control Tab 2. You see, this is the good thing about having all these mirrors. You can just tweak as you like. All right, that's the struts done. What's remaining? Well, we need to do the middle section and this piece here. All right, now, and the steering wheel as well. So let's crack on with that. 1 second. So let's select this piece here. Okay, and if we just select this edge here and just do Shift S, cursor to selected, and then do actually we could just do L, Shift D. No, Control Z, Control Z. Let's tab out. Then do Shift D. Right click. And we're just going to flicker to the front and do rotate 90. Okay, these mirrors are going to be all over the place. So let's grab that over on the X, put it over that side. Alt Shift Control C, the origin to geometry. Okay, maybe you can see what I'm doing here. Well, maybe you can't. let's tab in. I just noticed that that's not got. I thought that I'd done that. Yeah. What's going on here? This isn't good, is it? It's not happening. It's not happening with that one, but it's just making me think. Yeah, I've got too many edges. Oh, you monkey. Does that mean I've got too many edges on you? No, just you. You're being a terror for me, aren't you? Tab, Control Tab. Can you see? There's an edge underneath it. You spot these things sometimes. I think if you do A and then Alt M, that's what W. No, you can't do it with these bits. Okay, you little monkey. So I'm going to have to start that again. Tab, Control Tab there, and X, delete, and let's just do that again. Shift D, right click, rotate 90, enter. Oh no, what's that? Front, go one to front view, then rotate 90. Now let's have a look at you. Yeah, you're okay now, aren't you? Let's just turn these guys off. Alright, and now, are you going to mess me around? Let's just hide that. Let's just get rid of the what's it window. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Give myself some real estate. Apologies. You're probably thinking, why has he got that open? Right. So there's that looks better. So I need to scale it in a bit so that it fits inside the thing. There we go. And I'll just grab it on the X. You can see I need to do Alt Shift Control C, origin to geometry, so it's in the middle. Let's just Z. Grab it on the Z. Zoom in, grab it on the wire touch, just so it's in the center there. Alright, and we can actually start to play around with this now. Let's add a mirror modifier. We can do it against the center point. Now the way I've had to do this, and there is a bend tool Shift W, but I've been having all sorts of fun with that. I'd meant, this is one of the reasons this video has taken a little bit of time to do, is that I'd meant to get that working and show you how it works, but it's Shift W, to tab into edit mode, and just add a few of these, Control R, like so, and then just maybe scale them on the Z and grab on the Z and pull them up there, and then just select them all, just doing edge loop select there, and then Shift W, and it selects on against the cursor. Let's just see if I can do it. I mean, let's try there, and now I'll do Shift W. It's kind of working. Let's try there, Shift W. It's just, I can't get it working. Let's try there, Shift W. It seems to pick a funny point. I was thinking it. Let's just try to tab. Let's try that one. No, that one. Sorry guys, I'm playing on the fly. You don't want to see this, do you? Shift W. That just does that one. I'm going to try a few things. If this doesn't work much longer, I seem to have messed up the straightness of the thing, didn't I? There we go. Control tab 2. Don't want to mess that up. Yeah. Shift W. It's just the weirdest thing, isn't it? Let's try removing that one. Shift W. It just seems to pick that point there. I don't know what to tell you. There. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that. I'm going to remove all of these. Control tab 1, B, X vertices. I'm just going to grab that, rotate by 22 point. That's going to be minus, isn't it? Minus 22.5. And E, just pull it out a bit, somewhere about there. Rotate 22.5. Excuse me. Rotate minus 22.5. That looks to be the same angle to me. Why are you being a monkey? Yeah, so E, like so, and then rotate minus 22.5. There we go, and then E. I know this isn't the right way to do it, guys. And then rotate minus 22.5, and then E, like there, and then rotate minus 22.5 there, and then we can do E into an X. Clipping's not on, so let's turn clipping on. Grab on the X there. Okay, and that's a little bit of a bit of a terrible way of doing it, but there we go. GG, just pull that across up there, something like that, and then like that. Something just to tweak it. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Just scale it out a bit. Whatever. All right, something like that. I quite like that actually. Do you know what? I'm going to make that the backstop as well. So let's just grab that on the Z, on the Y, and just pull that to the back. I thought about that earlier on, about having a little thing at the back. There we go. Hang on. That's nearly perfect, isn't it? G on the Y. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Shift D, Y. But this one's going to be for the steering wheel. Okay, and now what we need to do, and I think the way I'm going to do this is the mistake I made last time as well. It's just tab here. If I go to the Shift S cursor to center, in fact, go one better. No, not what I did there. Tab and then tab in. Let's go to the front. That one, excuse me, and then tab that, and then Shift S cursor to center. Cursor to center, Shift S, cursor to selected. Back into 3, object mode, that one, and then pivot point 3D cursor. Now if I rotate that, you can see it does that. Now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go for 45 degrees, and that will give me some. Actually, as well, I need to make it bigger as well. Sorry. So let's do Control Z. That will give me some angles to work back from if I make a mistake. So let's just quickly. A, B, just grab that on the Z, pull that up, rotate 45. You can clearly see that chair's too high now. Pull that down. You see, it's just not long enough, is it? So let's let's just do a couple of Control Zs here. This is the good thing. I thought I'd made that bigger. Okay. Z, A, B, Y, Z, excuse me. Pull that right up. What's 45 plus 22? 77.5. Oh. Sorry, 67.5. 67. No, that's too. That's no. Okay, let's try 60 then. Okay, take 50. 55. Okay. Looks close. Looks close. Okay, let's turn and grab that on the Z. Like I say, you guys will be playing around with this for a lot. Let's very quickly unwrap some of these. This should be very straightforward for this one. I'll just simply go to an edge here, pick a bottom edge. I think that's the bottom one. Control E, mark seam. Tab. That one. Control E, mark seam. Because these are mirrored, you see, I can do this. And now let's just grab these ones. Tab, and then Control E, mark seam, and then finally you Control E, mark seam. All right. Yeah, so we're doing all right. Those wheels look too fat now. All right, now we are nearly there. The one thing that remains, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on this, is the steering wheel. Let's click on this one, tab in, select that one, select that middle loop there. Come on. Shift S, cursor selected, and then tab out and do Shift A, torus. Let's get these out. Let's get these right here. I think 48 was too many. I think I might try 32. I can tell you that 16 isn't enough. And given that you're going to be looking at this a lot, I think at least 24. I'm going to go with 32. And I probably think that's too many, but I don't care. It needs to be looking smooth, and obviously that fatness section there is the, well, not obviously, but it is. You just pick a size here. Why don't you go for 0.1? That's too slim in my book. 0.15 then. 0.15. Yeah. No. 0. Something like that. All right. Okay. And as usual, we're going to go in. We're going to shading UVs, face it smooth. Click over here and do texture, and just set that to 180 or something, whatever. All right, and that gives us a steering wheel, obviously rather large. So let's just scale that down. Something sensible, and then we can turn the pivot point off, although it's actually at the same place right now. But let's just turn that around. Let's just start scaling until we find something sensible. Maybe grab that and just grab that as well. I didn't actually add any connecting nuts or anything, so it looks a bit, obviously doesn't look right at the minute, but we'll sort that out in a second. Okay, let's go with that. I like that actually. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with it. This is a hard one to actually unwrap, so let's just quickly do that now. The secret, let's just tab out and do Shift H, and now tab back in. I think I ended up doing 4 of them. Control E, mark seam, and then also on the inside, which is the right place I think, because you can see the outside. Control E, mark seam. Let's just quickly bring back the UV image editor, and then okay, N, stretch. It's not terrible, is it? Now the way to fix this, by the way, let's just quickly go Control A, rotation and scale. Oh, there you go. It has changed it slightly. You can leave it like this if you want to. What I did, see what you think about this, is just go into here, do that. Sorry, I pressed Shift Space there, and then just press U, follow active quads, OK, and that creates a much flatter looking thing. In fact, what you can actually do as well, if you go a step further, is just grab those, W, align Y, and do the same at the bottom, W, align Y, and just grab those ones, W, align X, W, align X, and then Control Tab, face, and just select that. And now do U, full active quads, OK, and that will make that completely flat. And you notice there's not too much stretching. So let's just do that for the rest of them. I like to pick one roughly in the middle, I don't know why. Sorry, this is a bit dull. U, follow active quads, OK. I will do that a couple of times and come right back. And like magic, it's done. Okay, so what I will do as well, actually let's go into, I'm going to start doing island select, and let's just rotate that 90 degrees. Just grab that there. Now I say that. Yeah, no, let's do that. And then we can just grab that and we can scale it, can't we? Start scaling right out. Look at that. That's better, isn't it? I know we're actually going to be using the same texture, but I want to make sure that I'm... Okay, let's just grab that and pull that a bit closer. Let's grab that across there. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. And we can just keep scaling away. Okay, right. Sorry, that's that bit done. For speed, I'm gonna I'm just gonna do something. Oh, shall I show you what I was thinking? So let's do Shift S, cursor to selected, tab. Shall I show you what I was going to do, or will it take too long? It'll probably take too long. So I'm going to do the quick and simple route. Maybe one for another day. So let's just Shift A, add circle. No, Shift A, add cylinder. All right, and again, this can be a little less. 12 is vertices 12 is probably fine, and then we'll just quickly rotate 90. Scale it right down. We need to get smaller than that steering wheel. Scale it up a bit and then just rotate it. Again, this is a little bit weird because I'm not doing it with exact science, and imagine if it was CAD design or something, you'd have to be a little bit more accurate. There we go. So now I'm just going to scale it up. What I'll do now, if I just click on over here, global, go to normal. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this up like so. Let's just show you what I mean. So something from the front thing, so it looks okay. I'll just keep scaling like that-ish. All right. But now it's too wide. So what we'll do is just go to face view, just select it, go to side view, and then grab on and just press Z twice. There we go, Z, and then just pull it in, and then do the same on no, that one. That's it. Grab ZZ, pulls it in. If that's not the right one, you can do XX or YY. Okay, but you have to be in normal mode there, not global. All right, now I've got something that looks a little bit more like what I'm thinking of. I really messed this up last time, to be honest with you. Let's just make sure those are smooth. Make sure that this whole thing has got auto smooth. Yes, it has. Let's just just start grabbing these guys. Edges sharp. Yeah, it just doesn't look very good. I'm not happy with that. But there's one thing we can do, and I'll show you in a second. I'll just tab out and just do Control Tab 3. And the other mistake I've just made, I've just realised. Oh, I'm going to have to start again. Am I? Yes, I probably am. That's very annoying. Sorry, guys. Because I don't think I'm going to get away with it. And that is, I want that to point upwards. Let's just rotate a couple of things. Let's just see if we can do it so that it rotates. Let's put it back on its normal. This is going to be a no, it's all funky angles. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Right, so let's just quickly tab in L. In fact, what I'll do is I'll pause it and I'll come back to you. 1 second. Right, so apologies. So what I've done is I've created another one, and before I've rotated it to the same angle as the steering wheel, I've rotated it so that there's a point that points straight upwards. All right. So now I can let's do L now and start rotating this as you expect. Scale it down. No, just keep it scaled at that size. And then make sure it's on normal again. 3 and then GZZ, pull that in. 3 GZZ, pull that in. Right, let's have a quick look. How are we doing? L3. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, and now all of that. Let's do the other thing. Let's make sure it's tab A faces smooth, and of course edges, those ones and those ones. Chop. All right. Control tab 3, and then we'll grab that one. What am I doing? And then yes, Z E, and it's been kind. It extrudes correctly. All right. How's that look? Okay. And then we're just going to grab one there, E, pull that out of there, and is that one? No. That one, E, pull that out there. All right. I know it's not a perfect third, but actually I kind of like that because it means there's more space in the steering wheel there. All right. Now we're going to quickly just press L here and Shift H because I want to remove these faces here. They're never going to be seen. It's going to help us with the unwrap as well. And what I will now do, that's upset me. Why have you extruded UX faces there? Oh, that's depressing. Yeah, there's more than one. It's only, oh, it seems to be only you. Hang on. Yeah, it's only you. Okay, alright, well, there's there, look, you can see what's going on here. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, F there, and F there, and pray that works. No, there's ones there, look, you can see them. That's winding me up. Okay, I'm going to have a look at that as well later on. What we'll do now is we'll Control Tab 2, and we'll just go around this. Yeah, there's some sort of problem here. I don't know what it is. Just going to quickly clean that up. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I cannot see faces here, but I don't know what the problem is. So what I might do, seeing as it's only on this side, I will clean this up and come right back. Right, sorry about that. I don't really have the answers for you why that happened, but let's make sure we start marking this as sharp again. Make sure we've got some faces on the go. Okay, weird stuff. Right, so now we can do this beveling. I'm beginning to wonder if that one's got it as well, but it doesn't seem to have. Okay. Oh, that's fine. I can see why that's working. Okay, fine. This is fine. Okay. So we only want this on the front edge. We don't need to bevel the back edge. I'm not going to bevel those sections there. Let's just hide the sharp. It's holding me up. Yeah. So we don't want those. And now so I've selected all those bits. So that one there. Look, not that one. Nor that one. Alright, and now let's just actually hide the UVs as well, shall we? So see what we're doing. Do Control B. That's mashed up. Let's quickly go Control A. Rotation of scale. I'll do Control B again. Excuse me, have I got... No, just calm down. Then Control... Ah, hang on, that's not right. Okay, but it shouldn't be going as mad as that. There we go. Looks like yes, I've got that one selected. Okay, try again. Something like that-ish there. Now I think I've got that as 2, I'm going to set it to 1. It doesn't do the greatest job in the world. I've noticed this before. In fact, why has it done that, look? God, I hate this edge here. I'm really going to hate this edge. What I might try is Alt-M. At centre. A, B, Alt-M. At centre. Now let's try it. That seems to work. Okay, Control B. Yeah, I think that's fixed it. I can see I've done one behind, look there. Happens sometimes. Okay, Control B. I knew this would take longer than I initially suspected. Now, it doesn't do a great job, but it does a good enough job for now. Okay, I'm going with that. You see this here isn't quite right. Let's just quickly grab that on the Y. Pull that down, just a nudge. This is the same problem I had before. Just grab these guys. It's going to make for a bit of a messy looking circle, but there we go. Then when you do that, you have to kind of grab that one, just position it. No, I'll do you. For now, I'm going with it. It should be small enough that nobody's going to notice. Yeah, once that's textured, that'll be fine. Okay, Alt H. Let's get back to it. Let's quickly rename this to steering wheel. So caps off. Steering wheel. All right. Okay, nearly there. Okay, we will call it a day for today. What we're going to do in the next one is we will create a little box to put under here that kind of sort of supports the chair and the pedals that we'll also create. We'll then finish off any unwrapping, UV mapping and stuff like that we need to do. And we'll start importing this stuff into Substance Painter. So thank you ever so much for watching. I appreciate it. It's been a long tutorial. There's a little bit more to do, so I thought I'd take a break now. Why don't you take a break, go and have a cup of tea or something, and by all means watch the next tutorial. Please like, subscribe, comment. I love the comments. I like it all. So you know, any comments you've got, I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.